Recording in progress.
In addition to recording this particular webinar, we do often get a lot of questions. If we for any reason run out of time for any questions at the end, we do go back and post as an FAQ on our time of use webpage. We'll go ahead and answer any questions there as they come through. My name is Lena Williams. I'm the manager of Energy Account Services at Central Coast Community Energy. We are also joined by Patty Cruz, who will be leading the time of use presentation today with our guest representative from Pacific Gas and Electric, Jessica Chancellor. Patty, I'm going to go ahead and let you take over from here, and I will go ahead and man the questions and answers. So if you get your questions answered in the chat, it would be by me. And please bear with me because we do have a large group, and I'll try to get to everyone's questions as we go. Thank you for joining us again this evening.
Thank you, Lena. And yes, my name is Patty Cruz, and I am the Energy Program Engagement Associate for Central Coast Community Energy. And with us today, we also have Jessica. We're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we will be reviewing a little bit more about who we are, our rate options, time of use transition, the assistance programs, and at the end of this presentation, Jessica will go ahead and talk about the rate options that are right for you. And towards the end of this, we will have answer any questions that you have. Just a little bit about ourselves. Central Coast Community Energy is a local control public agency supplying clean and renewable electricity for residents and businesses in Monterey, San Benito, parts of San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz counties. Central Coast Community Energy is based on a local energy model called Central Community Choice Energy that partners with the local utility, and in this case, is PG&E. But how does this work? The CCA, the Community Choice Aggregator, thanks to a law known as ABA 117, jurisdictions were able to form a GPA known as Community Choice Energy Agencies and focus on electric generation. This effectively public agencies such as CCCE to purchase from energy market, just like investor-owned utilities such as PG&E. And just a little bit of the charges that you may see in your PG&E utility bill. So CCCE and your utility provider, in this case PG&E, partner up to generate and deliver electricity across the Central Coast region, as well as provide customers with their complete billing information. And as you may notice, there would be charges known as Central Coast Community Energy electric generation charges in your energy statement bill. The CCC electric generation charges may look like a new or extra fee charge, but you're always paid electric generation charges along with the franchise fee and PCIA charge, but you never knew it because these costs were hidden within the PG&E, this bundle of electricity service charges. Central Coast Community Energy Service Area will it's automatically enrolled in the 3C choice unless they choose to opt out to 3C prime, which is 100% renewable energy, and return to PG&E bundle service. Central Coast Community Energy provides customers with the choice of clean and renewable energy and community reinvestment through rates, benefits, and local GHG reducing energy programs for residential, commercial, and agriculture customers. And now going back into what is time of use. We want to ensure California can meet this goal of 100% clean, zero carbon energy by 2045. And it's important that all Californians consider that when you use electricity, it's important as how much electricity you use with time of use. Customers are encouraged to shift some energy use to times when rates are lower demand and lower and clean renewable resources like solar and wind power are most plentiful here. To enable Californians to continue leading the clean energy way, the California Public Utilities Commission, the CPUC, has mandated the investor-owned utilities to transition residential customers currently on the E1 tiered rate to transition to a time of use rate, regardless of your electric generation provider. Central Coast Community Energy residential customers will transition to time of use in October of 2021, while commercial and agriculture customers move to time of use beginning of March of this year. And the rate options here are you'll be able to see like what would be the best plan for your household in regards to the time of use rate plans, the tier rate plan, and the electric vehicle rate plans for homes that also charge an EV or battery. And you'll be able to see a little bit more of this information visiting the website pgne.com rate choices. And we will go ahead and put that link in our chat box. In the time of use transition, as part of the statewide, as I mentioned previously, this transition will ensure greater grid reliability, fight climate change, support a cleaner and healthier energy future. And like I mentioned before, all customers from Central Coast Community Energy, which are residential, will transition this year in October of 2021, honoring the selection fee and the same with the discount programs and payment plan. Now, how this works, during the specific time of use encourage customers to shift from energy to use the time of day when renewable energy availability is high and demand for energy is low. In this case, from the times that are 9 p.m. to 4, lowering the price for 19 hours each day. And then from 4 to 9, it's a higher pricing for 5 hours each day. Customers are excluded from transitions, and some customers will not automatically move to the time of use rate plan, including the medical baseline customers, customers who started service as of October 1st of 2020 or later, customers already on a time of use rate plan. And we encourage all customers to review their rate plan and also visiting the PG&E Rate Choices webpage. The residential customers may choose to take no action, and their rate plan will transition to the time of use rate in October 2021. Customers may decline the transition to a time of use rate by calling PG&E at the number provided on your screen. And we'll put the number in our chat box as well, or visiting the website at pgne.com. Time of use pricing helps power grids run more effectively by encouraging us to use electricity during off-peak hours, while more renewable energy is available. Using major appliances such as washing machines and dishwashers and charging EVs during daytime of peak hours help us access solar energy available on the grid. This keeps your bill low and reduces the need for natural gas plants providing fossil fuel power for evening electricity demand. And then you can find out which rate fits best by logging into your PG&E account. And we will be discussing a little bit more throughout this presentation. Customers will also receive the time of use notices 90 days prior to the switch, 45 days prior to the switch, and finally 15 days prior to the switch. So just in case you need a little reminder, you will be getting reminders about this transition. And with CCCE future rates, we're aligning customer rate plans by fairness, competitive, simplicity, and choice. So by fairness, we recover the cost to serve customers, reducing cross among the rate classes. And in the competitive side, we ensure that the customer classes remain competitive with IOU rates. We also want to avoid IOU complicated and a logic rate class, and by the choice alternate rate option to help transition customers. For those who have the discount programs like Carafera, Medical Baseline, it's available to Central Coast Community Energy customers. Now, These enrollments or renewals must still be done through PG&E's customer service center or website. And again, if you're enrolling in these programs, all these their PG&E charges, there's no need to reapply with Central Coast Community Energy, but feel free to visit the PG&E website for more information. Now, customers enroll in AMP will receive forgiveness for one of 12 of their starting balance for every one-time payment of a current monthly bill, with the maximum possible amount of $8,000 in total of forgiveness per 12-month period. Now, customers must make all 12 months of one on-time payments to remain in the program. And if a customer falls out of compliance and amounts previously forgiven are not forfeited. If a customer falls out of compliance, they must wait for 12 months before re-enrolling. Now, payment plans communicating to customers could only participate in one program, and more information will be also provided through PG&E. Now, in regards to the bill protection, you could try the time of use rate plan, which is the peak pricing that I mentioned before, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day for the first 12 months with automatic bill protection. You may also return to your previous rate plan or select a different time of use rate plan at any time. And now I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Jessica so she could discuss more about the rate options and what's the right plan for you. Jessica.
Thanks so much, Patty. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Chancellor. I work for PG&E. I've been with PG&E for over 12 years, and I'm responsible for ensuring outreach to customers to make sure that they're aware that there are rate options available to them, as well as programs. Also updating of contact information, the importance of that, language preference, and then in parallel hold the primary relationship manager role for all of our community choice aggregators, which is Central Coast Community Energy is one of them. So it's my pleasure to be here today to help answer some of these burning questions you might have about how you can save money simply by just making sure that you are in fact on the best rate plan for you. So as Patty described earlier in the presentation, there's multiple different rate plan options when it comes to electric service. We have time of use rate plans, which it doesn't just matter how much energy you use, but also what time of day you're using energy. So customers are incentivized to shift energy to the off-peak periods, and that way their bill would be lower, and then help to lower the demand on the grid during what those peak times are. In this case, with our transition rate plan, it would be 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day. And then we have our tiered rate plan, which is called E1, and that is provides a lot of flexibility with when you use your energy, but the more you use, the more you pay. So it's not as much control on your bill for the customer. Simply conserving energy is the way that you would be able to lower your bill in that case. And lastly, there's electric vehicle and battery storage rate plan options. And just as that sounds, those are designed for customers who have either an electric vehicle or battery storage at their home. So you might be asking yourself, what is the best way that I'm going to be able to figure out what rate plan is right for me? Because it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. What works for you may be something different for your neighbor. So the way that you can easily complete this is by logging in online to pge.com. I would encourage you all to do this now if you have a chance, if you have multiple screens. If not, I'm going to give you 4 easy steps that you'll be able to complete this after the presentation this evening to confirm either A, you're on the best rate plan, or B, that you can maybe save money just by changing to a different rate plan. So how do you get started? You go to pge.com, and in order to run a personalized rate plan comparison, you simply have to have at least 6 months worth of energy usage and a smart meter at your residence. Well, the good news is that most of our customers have that. So let's go ahead and move to the next screen and take a look at the first step once we get online. Okay, so again, you're at pge.com. You're going to see a sign-in box. And on the sign-in box, if you have a registered account, you'll be able to include your username and your password and sign in. But you don't have to have a registered account to do this. So let's take a look at how you would sign in if you're a visitor. The next slide, please. Okay, so in the bottom right-hand corner of that box, there is a box that says, or a button that says visitor. You would simply click that, and I'll show you that in the next slide. Okay, so you see there that it's highlighted. You would click visitor, and then you would enter in a few key pieces of information. Next slide. Okay, probably the easiest information to enter, which a lot of people know off the top of their head, is your last name, the zip code for your service address, and the last 4 of your social security number. If you do not want to provide that information, however, you can get some pieces of information off of your bill that will allow you to access this without providing that information and run that personalized comparison. So you put in your 11-digit account number, the last 4 of your social, and your meter ID number. And then you're going to click sign in. So let's take a look at what happens once we sign into the account. Okay. What is provided here for you is a look at what we call the dashboard. The dashboard is going to provide you your overview of your account information. And on the right-hand side, there is a section that advises the customer what is the current rate plan that they're on. In this case, we are showcasing a customer who is on the tiered E1 rate plan. Now, immediately below that, there is a button that's highlighted in red that says manage your rate plan. So you're going to click that button, and let's take a look at what happens. Next slide. Okay. Now, what you see presented here in front of you now is a personalized rate plan comparison. This customer has 4 eligible rate plan options, and what it's showing here is the top left-hand box indicates in blue, it's highlighted behind and shaded in blue, you are currently enrolled in this rate plan. So your top left is going to be the rate plan you are enrolled in at this time. And then the other rate plans are different options of what you can enroll in. The cost amount there is based on the annual estimated service for electric only. And the great thing about this is this tool provides this estimate based on how a customer has already been using their energy. So if you have been at this residence for a full year, you're going to be able to see the best price estimate for you, and it's going to indicate what the cost would be approximately for based on how you've been using your energy, the time of day, and the amount for each of these eligible rate plan options. Now, when we look at it here, E1, again, is this customer's current rate plan. It says $860 is the estimated annual cost. Immediately to the right of that is the time of use fee rate, which is also the descriptive name for that is peak pricing, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. everyday rate plan. Below that, you have in the bottom left box is TOUD, and that's peak pricing 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the weekdays. And then immediately to the right of that is an electric vehicle rate plan option. Now, if you look at all 4 of these, it shows here that TOUC is in fact the lowest cost rate plan for this customer based on how they've already been using energy. But what you should keep in mind is that if you can shift energy or conserve how much electricity you use, you can make an impact in that number as well. So you could save even more. In this case, the customer is estimated to save $10 simply by just changing their rate plan and doing nothing else. But if they take the extra step to maybe do some laundry or run the dishwasher outside of that 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. window, they likely will save more money than that. So it's this rate plan with time of use, it does provide a little bit more control back with the customer on managing their bill. Now, let's say that this customer wants to try out TOUC. So what you do is you simply click the upper left-hand button in whichever rate plan box that you want, and then you click Next at the bottom. So let's do that and click Next. Okay, and you'll see here that, whoops, it looks like this slide is a duplicate. That's all right. So we've already ran that rate comparison. So let's go to the next slide. Now it's going to take you to a screen that's going to show you any eligible programs that you might want to possibly enroll in as well. So you can read more about that information, choose what programs you want, and then click Next. And that is it. Your rate plan personalized comparison has been shown to you, and this customer in this scenario, we have even changed their rate plan simply 4 easy steps. What's highlighted here is that the customer gets a message that they've been successfully enrolled in the new rate plan. It tells them on the right-hand side what new rate plan they've been enrolled in, and it gives them an effective start date. So they know when does it start that they should be shifting their energy usage or conserving during the peak period. And that's how you run a personalized rate plan, and also change your rate if you choose to do so. Now, one of the questions that we get often is, how many times can you do this? And do you have to stay on a rate plan for any length of time before you can change to a new one? Well, the great news is that you can change your rate plan at least once within a 12-month rolling period. But currently we're honoring 2 within a 12-month rolling period. So this gives you some flexibility. You have the ability to try out a rate plan, and if you don't like it, it's not working for you, you can simply change back. Next slide. Okay, we talked a bit about customer information as one of the things that I am responsible for providing awareness of. We have a diverse customer population, and for that reason, we have the ability to provide multiple different languages to customers. So if you would prefer to have the information provided to you for your bill or other types of messages in a different language, we can more than likely accommodate that. So I would encourage you to go online, let family and friends know as well if they would prefer to receive the information in a different language, to either give us a call in the contact center or go online and make that language preference update. And then also, with public safety power shutoff season coming upon us, wildfires are a real thing. It's important that we have your most up-to-date contact information so that if there is any safety messages to provide to you, that we have the best number to do so. So please make sure that we have the most current information for you. Next slide. Okay, and that takes us to the end. I'm happy to answer any questions about rates or the time of use transition that's currently underway or any of the programs you might be able to benefit from.
So we have some questions that have come into the Q&A. Would you like me to go ahead and read off some of those?
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions about the EV rate. And so the first one is, does the EV rate include hybrid vehicles in addition to electric vehicles?
you're asking if you can enroll in an electric vehicle rate if your vehicle is a hybrid.
Yes.
I believe is the question. If it is confirmed that if there actually is an electric vehicle charging port, then yeah, that is qualifying for an electric vehicle rate plan. If there's no actual electrical port to charge the car, then no, that is not considered eligible for an electric vehicle rate plan.
And then there's a question, it applied to one customer, but just in case someone else has this pop up, it might be helpful. There is a customer who indicated that after going through following along with the steps to select a rate, the response or the pop-up that she received says there is no eligible service agreement for selected account. Is there a special trick to how they should have it entered, or do they have to have a smart meter to use the tool?
Typically, you would get that type of message if the customer doesn't have a long enough service with PG&E, or they don't have a smart meter. Usually something like that would occur, but it looks like, I think I saw that maybe this person was able to successfully get in. If there are questions, if there's any difficulty doing a personalized rate plan comparison, the contact center is more than willing to assist you with that as well. So you're welcome to give us a call at 800-743-5000, and they'll run the personalized rate plan comparison for you and answer any questions you might have as well.
Okay. So I had another question pop up here that says, I'm purchasing an EV at the end of the year. How would I figure out which rate plan to use? And so I guess he's asking, is there a tool, if you don't have one yet, to determine if the EV plan is a fit for you?
The EV plan is still going to be indicated there for you because it is an eligible rate plan option. It doesn't know that you don't have an EV at that moment. But of course, when you do get an electric vehicle, you're going to want to make sure that you are looking at your personalized rate plan comparison at least like every 3 months or so, just to ensure that in fact you're on the best rate plan for you, and that you are charging your car during the time when it's off peak, which usually it's after midnight. So if you set your charging time to after midnight, you usually could save money.
Wonderful. So another EV question. We've got a lot of EV questions. Can you combine the EV plan with another time of use rate plan?
The EV plans available are actually time of use rate plans as well, because there is a peak period in electric vehicle rate plans and there's off-peak periods. So technically, an electric vehicle rate plan is a time of use rate plan as it's structured with PG&E and Central Coast Community Energy. So there isn't a combining there, but it is already time of use.
Got it. And it looks like we have another here that says, if you select ETOUD, so the time of use D plan, do you also get bill protection for the first 12 months like you do if you select the E time of use C plan?
No, the bill protection component is only applicable to the TOUC rate plan, which is the peak pricing 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. everyday rate plan. With that rate plan, it's designed to help customers get acclimated really to time of use periods in general. But it also, that's our standard rate plan now. So if you were to start service today or transfer service to a new residence today, we're going to have a rates conversation with you. And if you at that moment decide you're not sure what rate plan choice you want, then you would be enrolled in TOUC. So TOUC does have the ability to try it risk-free as long as you're eligible. there are some requirements in order to be eligible. It can get a little bit complicated, and we could let you know, or when you're doing the enrollment online, it will simply tell you right there as well if you are going to receive the bill protection.
Got it. All right, and then we have a question. It says, do all of these plans have the option to pay a standard payment that will avoid a true up at the end of each year? I guess this is a solar customer. And if so, how do you opt in for those?
It's a little bit tricky because there is a program called budget billing, but it is only applicable to your transmission and distribution charges, which are the PG&E charges. So you could enroll in that, and that will give you some stability in knowing, you know, how much maybe your bill is going to be month over month. But if you're a solar customer, I would just encourage you to really keep track of how much you're using versus how much you are putting back on the grid. It is common for a lot of customers who have solar to be a little bit more free in how much energy they're using because they are providing back to the grid. So it can be a bit surprising sometimes at the end of the year. But if you're conservative with how much energy you use, then usually you're not paying anything, or you may even have a credit. So there isn't really a program that is going to do that for you. It's not a discount. There's no discount program per se. It's just something that will help to take the peaks and valleys out of your bill. But if you're a solar customer, you kind of already get that anyways.
Yeah. And I would also, to answer also your question, Marcy, is that I myself am a solar customer, and I can say that you always have the option to just take a look at what it says when you log into your PG&E account with the solar summary, and it'll say what it estimates your trip to be. And you can voluntarily pay more. There's nothing that prohibits you from doing so. You don't have to wait till you get your true up at the end of the year. So you can just throw a little extra in there, and it'll kind of come off of that balance at the end of the year. But the solar summary tool is a good one. Yeah, it's a good tool. That's also, when you log in, you're going to find it in the same place, and it'll tell you what your estimated true up is, and you can just pay the extra in advance at your leisure throughout the year.
Yeah, that's a great
usually helps.
Just paying a little bit more to help alleviate it at the end of the year.
And then it looks like, thank you, Marcy. She said, good idea. And then Holly just mentioned that there was only a $30 difference between her rate options there. And in her scenario, the 5 to 8 time of use plan is not an option. Now, is that different though for different customers? Because when they log in, it's looking at their usage. So does that mean that customers may see different options available to them, and based on how much usage information, different benefits between rate plans?
I'm surprised to hear that the 5 to 8 is not showing as an option, because if TOUC, which is the 4 to 9 p.m., is showing as an option, then the 5 to 8 should be as well, because those are both time of use rate plans. I know that it looks like in your question you had commented that $30 a year difference isn't really that much of a difference. But what I would encourage you to do is, if you did change to whatever it shows as your lowest cost rate plan, if you were to shift just some of your usage to outside of the peak windows, if it's TOUC showing as the lowest cost, and if you can conserve on top of it, you're going to save more than the $30. $30 is simply indicating what your savings would be by not changing anything in your usage habits. So just recognize there is some opportunities to maybe make some changes and save more.
That is also a very wise suggestion, and I don't know that we kind of touched on that too much as we went through, but that's, selecting your rate plan is not the only way to save on your energy bill. With the time of use options that are coming up, and you'll find this available both on the PG&E page regarding time of use, as well as the PG&E webpage regarding time of use, that there are many ways to actually, once you've selected a rate plan, make adjustments, really small adjustments to the way that you're using energy at home that can add up to savings throughout the year. So that's also something else to consider. So let's see here. Someone else received a message that says account not eligible.
So,
they are saying they do have a smart meter and they've been in the same home for over 30 years.
That's interesting. I'm trying to think of what the reasons would be that would make it ineligible. I wonder if the system is having, if the tool is having an intermittent issue, because I know the other participant that had mentioned said that it started working, but I don't know that anything new was done to, or new information was put in to get it to work. So I would try it again. There doesn't, based on the information you've provided, it doesn't indicate that you would have a reason for it to be ineligible. And then I would also, like, if it's still not working, please give us a call in the contact center at 1-800-743-5000, and we can run that personalized rate plan comparison for you, or find out the reason why it's not showing as eligible. So then that way we know if there's anything that can be done to make it eligible and get that information for you.
Thank you. And I have a solar customer. We're in the process of installing a solar system, and once connected to the grid, do we automatically get switched to the solar choice plan and off of time of use?
No, the solar choice plan is, or solar choice rather, is what we would refer to as like a rate rider. It's something, it's an additional program on top of your rate plan. All new solar customers are required to have a time of use rate plan. So when you would call in to the solar customer service center to let them know that you have installed solar and you want to get it connected, then that is when they're going to talk about the rate plan options for you. And TOUC and TOUD and electric vehicle rate plans are going to be the rate plan options that you'll choose from. So then they can look at how you've been using energy so far and determine, is there a better rate plan for you amongst those options available?
Thank you, Jessica. So it looks like that was the last question, unless anyone has one to drop in there at the last minute here. We have several participants in, so feel free. We do have a couple more minutes. I just want to remind everyone once again, though, that I greatly appreciate you joining us this evening to get this very important information. I know everyone's starting to receive their notices at home. You have the benefit both of the Central Coast Community Energy Call Center as well as the PG&E Call Center to answer questions that you have about making your transition to time of use and your option selection. I know I got my notification and I went online and was able to make my selection. I have a rate plan that I did not want to change from. And so you have the ability to kind of look at those things and determine what you would like to take as your next steps. I also know, because there are several solar questions, another resource that I did not mention, also available for your consideration, is, of course, if your system is already in, or you may still be in your selection process, but you can actually ask the folks, the installer of your system as well, if they also provide any tools that can help answer questions about, ways that you may change your utilization to kind of match not just your time of use rate plan, but also the system that you've had installed. So that's a third, I guess, option if you're currently a solar customer as well. So I do not see any additional questions. I want to thank you as well, though, Jessica, for jumping on and making yourself available to answer questions for the 3CE public. I'm going to hand it over to Patty to go ahead and close out the meeting.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you again, Jessica, for joining us tonight. And remember to stay connected with us and with PG&E. With us, you could visit our website for more information at 3cenergy.org /time of use. And you could visit us in our social media, Facebook and Instagram at 3CE Energy. And our call center is available for any questions. And for PG&E, you could also visit them on their website, pge.com. And the phone number on screen, it's call them if you have any questions, and their social media handle is also there. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Lena. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach either PG&E or ourselves. Have a great night.
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody. Have a nice evening.